standing on that. Approximately 19 years old, naturally regenerated carry forest before it's been thinned. It's what they call even age regrowth. As you can see, it's very dense undergrowth. It's also post-logging, post-chipping days, which means there is lots of rubbish and old logs left on the ground. Here we have the same aged forest, 19 to 20-year-old regenerated carry forest thinned out. The idea of the thinning being to maintain a canopy cover and reduce the understory growth and keep an even spread of even aged regrowth trees so that the forest grows at the same level. The trees are approximately 20 to 25 metres high. And approximately 20 to 30 centimetres at butt diameter. Base of the tree is 18 to 20 mil, or approximately 2 centimetres thick. You can see that it's a very fibrous bark, very tightly packed and very hard. It does peel off the stem fairly easily at the moment because we're just coming into the winter time and there is a lot of moisture or a lot of sap between the bark and the trunk of the tree. This is the ideal time of the year to try to remove the bark from the tree, but as you can see it is still fairly tough bark. Broken a slab of bark off, and as you can see it sticks together very well. In the summertime, this moisture between the in the sapwood here between the bark and the trunk almost disappears to nothing, and the bark is very hard to remove from the trunk of the tree. Very hard. Even in the winter time now, it's still very tough. It's not very easy to get off at all.
How many months of the year?
Oh, summertime.
Yeah, and good and bad.
We start to get rain in this part of the country at around about May. The wettest months of the year are June, July and August. Spring rains continue on through till about the end of October, which is about the same, and that's about at that time of the year that the bark starts to get very hard to come off. In the months of December, January and February, that is really very hard to remove. Another problem with removing the bark from the trunk is that in some products that they are trying to extract from these types of bushes, that is desirable to do minimum, almost no damage to the sapwood. So we must try not to damage the sapwood at all. Halfway mark of the trunk, you can see that the bark starts to thin out and it loses its fibrous texture. It's a lot coarser and a lot stringier. Once you get to the crown end of the tree, the bark thins down to about 5 mil. what we have found through experimenting is that by setting the feed roller wheels pressures at 130 bar and setting the knife pressures at 80 bar, the extra pressure of the knives clamping onto the trunk of the tree forced the wheels to spin more, ripping the bark off the trunk. We have also added slicing edges to the fixed point down the bottom and inside the top knives. These slicing edges have a dull edge, aren't really sharp, but what they do is by slicing the bark through the bark as the tree passes through the head, it helps to break the bark up so that the feed rollers can spin it and spin it off. We have also experimented with steel wheels on a GSA 62 head, and we have found that they are much more effective than the rubber wheels. Of these things culminated still are not enough in the summertime to remove the bark from the tree. They also have another disadvantage in as much as that when the wheels spin, either steel or rubber, and these slicing edges still damage the sapwood on the product that requires no damage done to it. That is only one product, but it is a high value added product, and if we could get the bark off that product without doing any damage to the sapwood, it would be most beneficial. Damage done to the wood in chip and saw logs isn't really a problem, but again, getting all the bark off in one pass of the tree through the head is the ultimate goal. increased pressure on the knives and the feed roll is set at 130 bar, and with the slicing knives in the head, it still takes several passes over the log to remove all the bark. would be acceptable at the chip mill and also at a saw log mill. Once again, I would like to say though that this is at the start of our winter and there is a fair amount of sap between the bark and the log, so it is a lot easier to get off now than it will be in 6 months' time.
denna jazz. Som du ser är det väldigt svårt att köra den här typen av terräng. Mycket underväxt. Du ska försöka ta träd som är ungefär 10 centimeter i roten. Variera lite grann, men ungefär. Det största problemet är att få barken av, som du redan har sett. Marknad för maskiner om man kunna ta av barken till 100% under hela året. För det kommer upp mycket så den här gallring i framtiden. Om man kan kalla det gallring, jag vet inte. kör fram och tillbaks och tuggar upp barken, då får man av bark. Just den här körningen här sorterar man ur ganska klena träd, men det finns ställen där genomsnittet ligger på ungefär 30 centimeter, mellan 25-30. Olika ställen. Been enough, I guess.
As you can see, this is an example of what we were talking about earlier by saying there's a lot of debris on the forest floor. This type of bush was cleared before the chip mill was opened up in Western Australia, and so most of this stuff was selectively logged, meaning that they left a lot of these old unusable type logs laying on the forest floor to decay. This makes it very difficult for the machine to travel through the bush and to grab hold of the trees when you're trying to cut them down.